First, it has been a massive week, but I don't want to look back on what's just happened. Instead, I want to open a window into the future of the Democrat Party, which is gearing up for a generational civil war as a breed of new, slick, social media savvy, young, and very hard left politicians push to elbow out the oldies and aim to get a place on the 2028, yes, 2028, we're almost there, ticket. Now, their targets aren't just the old guard, you know, the Pelosi's, the Bidens, the Clintons. Instead, they are targeting people like Gavin Newsom and Kamala Harris, yes, Kamala Harris, who think 2028 is their time and that these young whippersnappers have to wait their turn. I mean, when it comes to Kamala Harris, I know, don't laugh about this. It's serious. She is not letting this thing die, even saying this about her presidential campaign last time, which may be the most singularly audacious thing she has ever said, while she was out promoting her new book, 107 Days.
That is a decent resume, but go ahead.
Well, some people have actually said I was the most qualified candidate ever to run for president.
I like the some people say. Very nice, but go ahead.
I'm just speaking fact.
Yeah.
Under delusional, there is a picture of that interview, but you know what? Guess what? I think she's still going to do it. There's going to be an effort to put her up, even though most of the old guard will wind up falling behind another candidate, California Governor Gavin Newsom. And I'll tell you what, as bad as he is, just think about what he did to California and imagine that happening nationwide. Well, I don't think this rising generation of radical young Democrats, or Democratic socialists as they call themselves, are going to wait their turn. And not only that, I think they're also far worse, because these are not idealistic young liberals like, say, John F. Kennedy, committed to America and the capitalist system. But instead, they're determined to overthrow it. They are outgrowths of the legendary Squad, and they include radicals like New York mayoral candidate and radical socialist Zohran Mamdani, who has been forced to back away from his anti-police rhetoric, but even 24 hours ago couldn't bring himself to say that Hamas should disarm.
Do you believe that Hamas should lay down their weapons and leave the leadership in Gaza?
I believe that any future here in New York City is one that we have to make sure that's affordable for all. And as it pertains to Israel and Palestine, that we have to ensure that there is peace. And that is the future that we have to fight for.
Well, an absolute gold star to Zohran's media trainer there. I mean, how well was that answered? But there is another candidate as well from this younger generation waiting in the wings who not only ticks all the identity boxes, but is also even more bonkers than Kamala Harris. I speak, of course, of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, leader of that aforementioned Squad. And what's important to note is that she both talks a lot of lefty rubbish, but has also grown increasingly powerful within the Democrat Party. She's played a very good game getting very close to power. And she was in a fine form in a CNN town hall on the government shutdown Thursday, where she and Bernie Sanders were given essentially a free kick to dump on Republicans. Now, some of it was pretty wildly entertaining and just goofy. I mean, get a load of her talking about big corporations and environmental pollution here.
Rivers in rural areas were on fire because of corporations poisoning the people who lived in those areas. Poor middle-class communities getting poisoned and dumped on by corporations like Deloitte.
Deloitte? Last time I checked, they were an accounting firm that just got in a heap of trouble with the Australian government over a bogus report they handed in generated by AI. But speaking of pollution, here's what she is describing when she talks about a clean environment.
Instead of talking about having air that's drinkable.
That sweet, refreshing, thirst-quenching air. Oh, and she also declared war on Republican boys.
And they are able to radicalize and target and exploit a generation of young boys, in particular, away from healthy masculinity and into an insecure masculinity that requires the domination of others who are poorer, browner, darker, or a different gender than them.
Now, you see what's going on here. Of course, only liberals can express a healthy masculinity, and if you like your borders secure, well, you're mentally ill and probably racist to boot. But put away that goofiness, and it is quite clear to me that AOC is trying to position herself as the de facto leader of the Democrat Party, laying down the law here in this next clip about what has to happen to end the shutdown.
If I were Mike Johnson, you should be in that office negotiating with Hakeem Jeffries every damn day until we reopen this government. And any day that you don't do that is a failure. It is a failure. And until there is accountability for people who refuse to work, then we're going to continue to be in this cycle. So, you know, in the Senate, the Senate Majority Leader is John Thune. He should be negotiating with Chuck Schumer.
Ah, yes, Chuck Schumer, the Senate Democrat leader, also from AOC's state of New York, who famously doesn't know how a barbecue works. But I'm glad she mentioned Schumer, because Schumer is another one of those oldies the young Democrat socialists want to get out of the way. And there's a lot of talk right now that AOC might try to challenge Schumer for his Senate seat, giving her a launching pad to higher office, just in the same way JFK moved into the Senate from the House and then on to the White House, a path similar as well to his vice president, Lyndon Baines Johnson. And it was telling how both AOC and Bernie blew up when the host of this town hall suggested that AOC might challenge Schumer.
But are you saying that Senator Schumer should not be worried about a primary challenge from you?
I mean,
all right.
No.
Let me jump in on this one. This is what we're
talking about.
That's exactly what we're talking about.
This is what we're talking about.
You have a country that is falling apart. We had a housing crisis, a health care crisis, an education crisis, massive income and wealth inequality, a corrupt campaign finance system, and the media says, oh, you're going to run. What are you going to run for? Nobody cares. She'll run more.
Nobody cares.